Hey, welcome back. Last video, we took the old Camaro out for a ride. Did almost 120 miles round trip. Did really well. I'm happy with how it did, but we have some problems. Our first problem on that was we were headed to a car show a little over an hour away, but it was the wrong day. And, you know, stuff happens, whatever. I had misread the ad. So, nonetheless, we still may try to make it next week. That'd be another good shakedown before we leave for Hotrod Power Tour. I think I'm going to go ahead and don't even jack the car up. I'm going to go ahead and we'll try to center this rear end up, and we'll go from there. If you're looking, you can see that tire just pokes out a little bit. Let's go to the other side here. And this side, as you can tell, not even close. So let's see if pulling it over will help it. Actually, I had pushed it this direction, but evidently I went too far. I've got a little rag here. I'm going to show you something. See that? That's just burnt rubber from where it's hitting the tire. And it just catches it right along through there. But let me get a wrench, we'll get under the car and adjust that right quick and we'll see how it goes. Doesn't take much to adjust it. All you need is a Swedish nut lathe. And that's pretty much it. Nothing to it. So right here's the adjuster. And just back off the nuts that are on either side. And right here and right here. And then you can turn this and it'll move the rear end in and out. I'm just going to do it because I can't do it while you all are watching, pretty much. So we'll go from there. So as you can see, she tucks just ever so slightly now. And so does this side, ever so slightly. So now I think once we jack it up, we'll take the wheels and tires off, trim that and beat those back, and we should be in good shape. By the way, look how dirty this thing is. Went and saw Troy Shields. He lives down a dirt road or a gravel road. Holy mackerel. I got that cut and beat up in there. It created a lot of room, it really did. I'm going to show you what it looks like, and then I'm going to hit it with a little bit of paint. We're going to let that dry. Considered hitting it with some seam sealer, and I may do that and then a little bit of paint. Or paint, then seam sealer, then paint. I don't know. We're going to do something, though. I did chip some of the outer lip paint. I really don't care. This car needs paint in a terrible way, so I'm not concerned about that. So anyways, let's take a look at it. Hopefully y'all will be able to tell what's happening in here. Yeah, it worked out really good. So I hit copy and paste on the other side, and I've already got it done. It's back on the ground. I thought we'll put the phone down, kind of see if we can pick up the edge there, and I'll bounce the car and see how close we are on both sides to rub, and I think we're going to be beautiful. So let's check it out and see how that looks. Got you set up. Hopefully you can see good. I thought we'd give it a really good bounce and see how close we came to rubbing now on both sides. That'd be some really rough roads, just like Georgia. Hopefully you can see this one. Let's see how it does. Feels good. I'm gonna look at the video and see what it looks like. I think that'll do it. Doesn't seem to be getting super close, so I mean, it might rub a little, but nothing like it was before, and that was a really severe bouncing, so I think we're good. Well, it's the next day. It's Monday, so we've got the tire situation fixed up. I think we're going to look at this air intake situation. Let me kind of show you what I've got. I don't know that any of this is going to work, and we may abandon this. I wanted to do it today, so if I had to order something, I could. But let me show you what we got, and we'll go from there. So currently we just have the Spectrum air cleaner just crammed on the front of this, which is fine, whatever. But it is right behind the radiator, so you know it's got to be getting tons of just hot, dense air. I'd just like to get away from that if at all possible. So my thought is if we can use some of this exhaust pipe that I have to cut down to make a, let me move some of this here, and the original fresh air induction from the iRock. It'd be cool if we could just set that guy in place. Of course it's not, but and then just hook it up. This needs some paint, whatever, but I don't care about that. I thought maybe if I can get this to work out, that'd be cool. You know, I actually have brand new K&N filters for this. I don't know. This may restrict the air too much for the engine even. I don't know. We're not looking for peak horsepower here. We just need enough to where the engine does what it's supposed to do and whatever. So I'm going to mess with this a little bit, and I'll bring you back and kind of show you if I figure it out or if we end up having to scrap this idea. Well, the intake is 4 inches, and the intake snorkel, I don't know what to call that, it's 3.5 inches, which is, none of that is the size of couplers I bought or the size of pipe I have. So I'm going to go out and run and see if I can get some, just some plain exhaust pipe, which is fine by me, and a couple of couplers that'll actually work, and let's try this again. So this turned into sort of a fiasco. Let me show you what I've ended up with and what I want and what we'll get later, but let's start here. First off, AutoZone didn't have a 4 to 3.5 reducer in stock, so I had to order one. We'll be here for 2 days. This is a piece of exhaust tubing. It's 4 inches. I got this at the exhaust shop. It's 25 bucks, no big deal. But it's kind of heavy. But we're only going to use, 7 inches or whatever of it. And then this is a 4-inch coupler. So this tubing is fine, but it's really not what I wanted. But I've looked online and actually found some 4-inch carbon fiber tubing, but it won't be here in time. So we're just going to do this for now. It'll be fine. If we like it, great. And if it starts giving us problems, we can always back up and do something else. So we'll give this a shot though for now. I'm just going to take a measurement. I may cut this and just kind of try to test fit a little bit and see how it does. But it'll be a couple of days on the rest of it. Same way with the accumulator dryer. I have to have a new one, and it won't be here till Wednesday. It's the next day. So if you're curious how much I got done yesterday, nothing else after I stopped that last clip. It was extremely hot in the garage. It was in the afternoon, and I was like, forget this. And I went in and I did some other stuff for the channel. I had to do some editing, whatever, for the next video. So that's what I did instead. I'm very unmotivated for that today. So I've kind of switched gears. Let me show you what we're going to do. We're going to finally cover up the transmission and seal that off. Let me show you what I've already started here. This is just an old piece of Ford pan I had laying around. I'd already started this once before. You can see I started cutting a hole there for the shifter to come through. And I have a boot for that. But we're going to make a metal plate. That way that boot just isn't huge. I'd already measured this out and everything. So we're just going to get to it, get it cut, and we'll move from there. Well, I got her all cleaned up. It's not perfect, and I may overcut right there. I'm not concerned at all about it. I left this little lip on the back. Originally, I was going to cut it right there, but the back of this really needs to be raised up, so I did that. We will kind of take this in there. I'm going to set it in the car and kind of see how it looks. That hole right there is where the reverse wires are going to come through, so I just left it. So let me go in there and check it out. Man, it is warm out here. I'm doing a little sweating, but I've made quite a bit of progress on this. I've not filmed it all because it's a slow process. I just go out, and I did take my vise out there, and I'm just bending it how I want it to be. It does not take a bunch of fancy equipment to shape sheet metal. What it takes is patience and a vision. If you can visualize what you want, and you have the patience to fool with it, you can make it really, really good. So let me show you what I've got. I've still got more to do, but it's starting to look like something in here now. And there we have it. So I have the wires just coming through the opening there. It fits really tight along this side. It's hitting right in here. I've already beat some of that up. You can see where I've been hitting it. And I may smooth some of this out, and I may not. I haven't really decided yet. But this side fits pretty good all the way up through there, all the way down the side. Even back here, I need to bend that a little more. But we're really close. I'm just going to take it out and smooth some of this out, make it to where it fits just a little tighter, and bring this section up a little bit, because currently the transmission hits it like right here, where the bolt is on that side. The actual bolt's hitting, and then there's a little place right here where it's hitting just a little bit, right behind the transmission. It's probably right there. Yeah, when I move it, I can see it. But I'm just going to relief that up a little more. We don't need a ton of room. We just need some. So I'm going to go out there and try to just round that over and make it better so it clears. And then I'm going to just do some self-tappers around the edge of it where we're going to hold it. I have a nut cert tool that I've never used, and I've been wanting a good excuse to use it, and I can't think of a better excuse than this one. This will really be a good trim piece for this, and it's it's something we can take on and off for access to the shifter. Yeah, I'm happy with how it's turned out. So I'm going to go out there and do that. Also, we got to cut this jagged thing off. This is where the console used to bolt. Or no, the shifter bolted to that. I don't know. The console bolts to the shifter, I think. But we're going to have to just come in here and just zip that off right quick and get that out of here as well. But it's coming right along. Well, I've got it where it fits pretty darn good. I'm happy with how it is. It's got some complex curves in it and stuff, but what I think I'm going to do, since I don't want it to move anymore, I'm going to do us a couple of self-tappers at the front, and probably maybe 2 on the sides, 2 in the back somewhere, and just self-tapper it down and see how it feels. If we like that, we'll get into actually bolting this in, and I am going to put a seal around the underside of it so it seals this off as best we can anyways. Fits really good though, so I'm also probably will go, I don't know, I may go back in here and dress up some of it. I don't want too much work into it. It's something that's, completely invisible, so I just need it to work. Alright, so I've got her all screwed in. I actually tried to put a screw there, but it just kept coming out. I'm out of self-tappers, and what I had is not strong enough, so the next thing we're going to do is actually pull this cover off, and I may work on it some just to clean it up just a little bit, and I'm definitely going to put some paint on it. And then we're going to use the riv nut. Just basically these things drill a hole, they go in, and then hang on, I'll show you where they screw on the end of this tool here, like so. They screw on, and then when you pull that too, it just crushes it right here at the very top where it's knurled. There you go. That part crushes, and the bottom part of that has threads in it, and boom, you got a threaded thing. I'm hoping all these clear and none of them hit the transmission, but we won't know when we know. So I think I'm going to go ahead and just pull it off, and we'll see how it goes. So we got her apart. Most of these look good, but you know, I may move a couple. But all you got to do is pick out the correct drill bit size. This one happens to be a 3/8 for what I'm using, but they differ. Drill yourself a little hole. That, put the handles out, screw it all the way down like so. That just goes in, that, and you pull the handles together. I'll have to put you down for that. I can't do it and hold the phone. So that screw blew out. It was really close. I thought I'd just give it a shot. It couldn't hurt. We need to drill a new hole here. I don't like where the Alright, I got it. I got those 5 bolts in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to drill another hole in this one. I'm going to go about right here. I think that's where the most meat was that was left. And then I'm going to put a hole right there where the flat side is. And then I'm going to put one about there. And I think that's going to be it. That's all this is going to get as far as bolted down. That'll work just fine. It's going to clear just fine. It doesn't touch anything. So I think we're in good shape. Later on, if it seems to rub or something, we can always pull this back off and manipulate it some more. And then we're going to figure out what to do for the actual boot and find a grommet for that. Well, after 6 hours, we have that bolted in. I am going to clean it up just a little bit, and then we will turn our attention to the actual shift boot. I've got a large one, so we got to cut it down and do some stuff. I'm just not a big fan of a giant rubber shift boot. Never have been, although they probably work better. It is what it is. So, but I do have it all bolted in. I'm going to show you. There she is. She's all bolted in. All the bolts tightened up. Everything looks good. I'm happy with that. All those bolts are just ones I found in my junk pile. Everybody's got a bucket of bolts, right? So I recycled all those. Next, we got to figure out where to drill. We really need to put 4 holes in this, and probably end up welding some bolts to the bottom side. That way we can just slide it on and put some nuts on it. I'd like to make a retainer, but I don't have any material here for that, and that can wait. It doesn't have to be done right now, but eventually I'll make a retainer to slide over that and bolt down to. Which means once this is out of sight and working, I will never, ever, ever fix that. Oh well. Well, I'm back. It's actually Thursday. Wednesday, yesterday, kind of rained yesterday evening. I didn't get to do anything. But yesterday morning, I ran around all morning looking for parts and pieces and things to make the rest of this stuff work out. AutoZone still doesn't have my reducer coupler in, but they did have the dryer in for the AC. I went ahead and made an appointment with my friend Gary for tomorrow at 1 to get the AC charged on this thing. So, we should have AC for the ride. That'll be awesome. But I got stuff to do with that too. I thought we'd start where we left off. I'm going to pull that plate out, and we're going to try to make that rubber boot and stuff for it and see how that all works out for us. This is the boot I bought. I'm going to go ahead and take it out of this package and take a good look at it. It came from Amazon. I don't know what it even fit, but that's what it is. If you find yourself needing a round boot, it's rather large. It'd be great for like a truck or something, I guess, but it fit what we needed to. So I'm going to open it up and we'll take a look at it. I think I'm actually going to try to set it cut it down, set it down in there, make sure I like how it is before we go any further. Well, I just threw her in here. She's way too big. I knew this already. So what I think I measured it. It's 4.5 inches across. We might be able to get away with this ring, but I'm not sure. So what I'm going to do is start cutting here, and we'll just keep setting it down. And I'll go a ring at a time until it'll either be that one or that one of the two. But I think it'll be this one. I think that'll work out just fine. So we'll cut the first one off, see how it looks, and then we'll cut the second one off, because I'm pretty sure it's what I'm going to need to do. And we'll be ready to take this off and actually do something to make that work. Well, there you have it. It fits over the actual shifter really nice. Right here is where those stops are, so it's going to move across those, but I think it's going to be just fine. And if we ever have to do something else, we'll just do it again. It ain't no big deal. So yeah, all the way up, it flexes just fine. It just doesn't move a whole lot, so it doesn't really matter. So I'm happy with it. I'm going to pre-drill some holes in this once I figure out where I want them. They may not be symmetrical because of the transmissions underneath it, and we have to have enough room to put those bolts in and tack them. I'm going to take it out and smooth this out just a little bit and sand it down. Once we get all this welded up and done, I'm going to shoot just a little bit of paint on this because it's got a lot of bare metal on it right now. And this part will be wrapped up. So that hole didn't drill very well. I'm actually going to straighten some of this out. I'm going to straighten some of this out too. And we'll get it to where I think we can work with it. So I got all those welded on. You know, it is what it is, the hold. I'm going to actually take the flap disc and knock every one of those down where they're as shallow as they can be. And that should work. And I went ahead and welded up the corners. That one's an ugly booger, but that one's okay. But I'll hit them with a grinder too. Same with the two holes that didn't go and do anything now. So I'll grind it down good, and I'll show y'all what it looks like when it's done. I'm just trying to save some time. This is going to be a long video, I feel. Well, I got her all ground down. I'm pretty happy with it. I'm going to let it cool off. Had to go back and weld right there. That's where I made that miscut originally. It ain't perfect, but it's good enough for what we're doing with it, I guess. So I'm going to let it cool off. We're going to test fit it, make sure we like it. If that goes okay, the next step will be just spray some paint on it, and we'll move forward and try to get it installed. Well, I got her just sitting back in here. Most of it looks good. Like, all that clear is really nice, all those two. I'm going to cut just the edge off of this guy. It doesn't touch, but it's close, so I'm just going to hit that with a grinder and knock it down. This bolt just happens to be on top of another bolt, and it clears. But I'm going to give him just a smidge more clearance, and then I'm going to call that good. I found a rubber grommet that I'd bought when we were looking to run the wires through the firewall. This particular notch right here works really well with that hole, so that'll work out good. I'll trim this down. We'll use this and a little tape, and that'll be good. Everything seems to work out okay, so yeah, I'm going to trim those up and just paint this, and next time you see it, we'll just be putting it in. I'm excited to have this part wrapped up. Well, there she is. Took all the tape off. That's ready to install. Got the console just sitting back in here. Man, it feels good having that closed up. But the next problem is this shifter is way too far forward. And we need it to come, back at 2-3 more inches. So we're actually going to make a piece. Also, it sits up a little high. I think it'll be fine as long, but this one kicks up, that won't clear. So what I thought we'd do is just make one of these. I've got all the stuff to do it with. I got us a piece of aluminum yesterday, and drill bits and a tap and all. So we're just going to make an offset. I'll take this out and we'll kind of see how far it's got to be and that sort of stuff, and I'll show you kind of what we're going to do. So I just put the cover on this. This is one of those Hawks covers that they sell, and it's currently in third or sixth gear. I don't know, whatever, it doesn't matter. It's probably third, and it kind of fits, right? So I mean, you can see that the shifter's just too far forward. So if we can get it to be, I don't know, let me see if I can find neutral. Alright, that's neutral. So if neutral is here-ish, right, we need it to be here-ish. We'll just take that, see what that difference is. Looks about 1.5 inches, and we'll just make that new piece and just see how it turns out. So I measured from here to here, took that measurement, and then halved it. 3 1/4-ish is about right there. I marked it. Of course, I had that where I wanted it at the time. I'm going to pull this back off. Let's see if I can get it off of there. Hang on. All right, now the shifter is in neutral, and you can see how far off that is. I'm going to do some measurements, and then we'll build something. I got a couple of different pieces of aluminum. I got one really large piece. Let me show you. It's actually like a 1x2, but it's going to be too big. But then I got some 1x1, which is basically what this is, and we'll make it from that. So it needs to be about 5 inches overall. No big deal. Enough material here to do more than one. This is bigger than what they even used. So I figure what I'll do is we're going to start right here and drill a few holes until we get it to the point we can run a tap in it. If we like it and everything's straight, everything looks good, we'll go in and cut it down. But if we mess it up, we can just cut it off and then do a new hole here, and that way we don't have to lose so much. We'll give it a shot and see what happens. 4 inches center to center is where the shifter hole needs to be drilled. Put a little piece of tape there so we can mark it. Start drilling. About right there.
already threaded that one. Forgot to turn the camera back on. We'll thread this one and test it. Here's the shift lever, I guess, shift rod, whatever, but it's adjustable in height. We don't know what height we want. We just know that we need something. That bad boy is tolerance fit. If you're doing this, make sure your set screws are back. There we go. That's better. Alright, I had to take the whole console back out because this thing's so big, which, no big deal. Oh, wait. Make some more room here. There we go. I'm going to have to get something to put on that for some leverage before I cut my hand. Well, I've got her run in, and we got her tight. So I thought I'd put the shift knob on and just kind of see what it felt like. Evidently, I'm not meant to run this one. There we go. That's us. Of course, reverse, if we had it, it's back there. But yeah, that worked out really good. Now, let's see if we can't get this in maybe for the final time. Holy moly, I've had it apart so many times. Well, I got good news and bad news. Good news is the location is just absolutely on point. I love it. Bad news is we're going to have to trim part of the top of this off so it'll clear the cover for the transmission, or for the console here. So that's no big deal, but we're going to have to do it. So I'm going to go ahead and take the console out again. I know I just put it in, but I'm going to take it out again, take this off, and we're going to take a little bit of material off, and I'll show you what we're going to do. So right here is where it bolts onto that shifter, and it's touching the plastic, not by a lot, but we're just going to, with a flap disc, just remove some of that. No big deal, and then we'll try it again. If we need more than that, we'll have to take it off the actual piece of plastic, because I don't want this to be so thin that it, it might break or whatever. But we are going to take some off of it. We're going to start there. Well, I got it all back together, and as you can see, we still don't clear. So I'm going to have to figure out what we got to cut out here and get it cut out. And it's not going to leave much. So I don't know how that's going to turn out. But I guess I could cut more off of that. I was just concerned about making it too thin. But we may have to. Here's a really good view of how much we need to take off that. See how that needs to set down inside of there? So it's actually more than you'd think. It's about a 1/4 inch. So I'm actually going to take some off of this, and then we're probably going to end up having to cut this down to raise the boot up to make up for the clearance. But I think we can get it though. I think it'll be just fine. But I got to take the console out again for like the 7,000th time. I got it all trimmed down and back together. I got a little bit of extra room even with this. Now we got to see what it looks like with the boot installed. I'm just going to put it together and see what we get, but I have a feeling that we still may have to modify that boot. Went outside and trimmed that lip off. I'm going to put it back together and let's see how it does. I put it on and test fit it, but it's hitting right here. I should have brought this back just a little further, and that's pretty much it. So, you know, I'm just going to take the console out again, cut this back a little more, and put it back together, and I think we might have it.
Well, good morning. Yesterday we worked on that shifter thing pretty much all day. We got the plate done, got the shifter set back, I don't know, whatever you want to call that thing, done. It still needs a little work, but we can't work on it this morning. We got to get this thing ready to go to my buddy's shop, and he's going to charge the AC. So we need to put that in. So as you can see, there's just no lines, no accumulator. I'm just going to just put the stuff in right quick and get it done so I don't run out of time. But yeah, it's just a couple of hoses and the accumulator, nothing major. So I'm just going to knock this out. We'll end up having to put this back on for now, and then later on we can today I think we'll be able to go pick up that coupler, try to fix this. So, but nonetheless, let me see if I can get this slammed together. I've got about 3 hours, maybe a little less. So if I can get it done and that's done, we can move on to something else. But as of right now, the car would run and I could drive it out there. I just have to get all the junk off of it. Got her all back together. Everything went in okay-ish. I'm not upset about any of it. I do have to get a little wire loom on the... got her all together. It looks good. I'm very happy with it. Technically, this is two different kits from two different companies, and I wasn't sure it was going to work, but it did. The high-pressure switch, I need to get some loom on that. I had to unloom it to get it to go where it needs to be. Let's see, what else? The actual excite wire for the compressor, I've got it unhooked, but I put a weather pack on it so we can just plug it right in when we get there. I just didn't want to accidentally turn it on while I was driving and destroy all of this, and that's a lot of money just to be destroying for no good reason. So next, I think I'm gonna put the vents on the inside and clean up, and we got to be out of here. Well, here we are. See, I just got the vents out of it. I took them out whenever I did the dash and took it all out and cleaned it and all that. So it's been out for like 2 years. So I'm gonna pop them in right quick so they have something to hook a temp gauge to, and we should be good there. And we're getting real close to being ready to bounce. Well, we made it out here to the shop. They're doing the vacuum test, I think, on it now. They're going to throw some fluids in it and some Freon, and hopefully we'll be set. I'm over and above excited that we're going to have AC. I did not think this would happen. Gary's getting this fixed up right now, but currently she don't blow through the main vents, just the defrost, which means I probably don't have vacuum hooked up to that yet. I'll have to look at it. Well, I got back from Gary's. I've already hooked up the vacuum to the inside. I just hadn't done it before. That's done. She got a little warm on me on the way in, 228, and it is not a hot, I mean, it's hot, but it's not that hot of a day out. So, you know, makes me worry a little bit. I'm going to hook up the AC request so the engine will idle up and do all the things it's supposed to do when we turn the AC on. Currently, that's not hooked up, but I'm going to do that right quick. Yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do about those fans. I don't know if the fans are even kicking on, if they're both kicking on. It said all of them said they were both on, but I don't know. I don't know for sure. So may have to do some digging on that, and that's what I'm going to do here in just a minute, just make sure they're kicking on and doing what they're supposed to. And both of them are on. So I'm going to work, and I'll show you what I find. I don't know what I'll find, but we'll get into it. While I was out running around, I went by AutoZone, then my coupler came in. I wanted to slide it on here. I just wanted to make sure it fit. I'm going to try to fiddle with this some. I think we can get this to work for sure, right? Shouldn't be a big deal. Ta-da! That actually went really well. I just measured it, cut it down, went together. If you notice it's off kilter just a little bit, I knew it would be. The
Tune port injection actually on these cars isn't quite centered. That's actually centered. All of it's to the left, but nonetheless, it looks fine. I'm going to take that out, sand it down, scuff it up good, and see if I can't get a coat of satin black on it, just so it looks a little better and it don't start rusting. And then we can get this part wrapped up. I think I'm good to go there.
Well, good early morning to you. It's like 6 something in the morning. Today is Sleeper Dude's car show. I didn't think we were going to make it last night. I still don't know that we're going to exactly, but we're going to go. But we've got to do some stuff before we leave. This is it. Today's my last day before I leave for Power Tour. I leave in the morning. So here's what we got to do. We got to put the intake on, the new air intake. We got to change the oil because this oil's the oil I started with after I put the cam and all the stuff in it. So let's just dump it and we'll be good to go on that. Still no radio, which, you know, I can do that maybe this evening. I actually have my laundry running right now. I got to get all that done too. So many things to do, so little time to do it. I've worked on this basically every day now for I don't even know how long, weeks. So, not including moving, it's been months. So, yeah, anyways. I did get the air intake painted up last night. So, I'm going to see if I can get it on first. And then get that wire for the AC request soldered in. And then we're going to change the oil. And I'm just going to give it a once over and see what's up. Because I just want to test it again for overheating issues. If it's not running the AC I may not be able to run it when I'm in town. I don't know. We're just working on this, and I'll probably work on it the entire time we're on tour. So let's see how this goes. Well, there you have it, folks. Hopefully that holds. I'm gonna go ahead and roll the car back, change the oil. I'm gonna rinse the car off. At the very least, it's covered in gravel dust. And I don't know of anything else I can do here. I'm hoping the lower air temps coming in will also help keep the engine cooler. I don't know. I'm just shooting in the dark here. It was fine before we added the AC, fine-ish. So maybe it'll be fine-ish now too. We'll see. Well, I found my oil, but I can't find my oil filter. I've looked around. I just don't see it. So I'm just going to wash this thing off. We're going to take this trip. I'll change the oil when we get back, but I want to change it before I hit Power Tour because, you know, it's due. But what's another 120 miles on it? It should be fine. So I'm going to go ahead and roll it outside. I'll just rinse it off right quick and we'll get on with this. Well, I'm calling this a video. Car's clean, ready to go to the show at the church. So we're going to go do that. That'll be another almost 120 mile trip. You know, to shake this thing down a little more. Next video will be of the car show and this trip, and getting ready for the last few things for Power Tour, and then we'll start the Power Tour stuff. So anyways, thanks for watching. I appreciate it so much, and I'll catch you on the next video.